We'll call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. Everyone please stand. This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Lee Harvey to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come here today to recognize you, to give you the praise for everything that you do for our community, for our county, for our state, and our country. Dear Lord, thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon Wichita County. Thank you for a great Hotter Than Hell weekend where we all came together and enjoyed each other's fellowship. Dear Lord, please, please help us get our arms around our government. You know, we spent a week in Austin. We learned a lot of things that's really disturbing. Please help us pass that message on to the folks, onto the people, and help us educate so that we can make good decisions at our state government. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Do you want to add a PS to that and go for the federal too?
It's too late for them.
Thank you. Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please.
Nobody protested?
Protesting what? Oh, quarterback.
All right. If I could ask the court to take action on the consent agenda.
I'd move to accept the consent agenda, Judge, with one question.
All right, sir.
I'll second that.
The Tyler Technology invoice, are we anticipating being able to do our look-back resolution in time to recapture monies like this?
Well, I thought we were. We've asked for it from council, not our local council, but our bond council, I think 3 times. I'm about ready to take the book out and draft one ourselves and do that. I'd rather they did because they're experienced in that. Sure. But we have 60 days. We've already passed one small opportunity we would have had in that.
Yeah.
So we need to ask them to do something about that. Okay. When we recess, you and I need to call them and find out about that. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 1 under general business, review and approve the emergency and regular bills for payment.
Well, the one guy that made it back to go through all those things is in Iowa today, but he did give us a group text that said he had accomplished that and everything looked okay. So I'm going to move that we pay our emergency and regular bills.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve the bills as presented. Any comments or questions? I didn't see anything either in them, but okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 2 is discuss, consider, or take action. This one we're going to put off. Mr. Smythe said he wanted to be here. Whoa, I'm sorry, wrong one. I see what my note is. All right. Discuss, consider, take action to authorize IT department to renew 3 Adobe Creative Cloud for Teams through SHI licensing to manage the county's website at a cost of $821.06 each for a total cost $2,463.18 to be paid from $104.12.3151. George and Ashley are both out at the annex. They're having a server problem out there, and they're working with that. And this was a budgeted expense, and I'd like for the court to go ahead and take action on it.
I have a question, Judge.
Yes.
Do we need 3 of these? You just need one license and one sign-on to get on and manage the internet. I mean, our website. they could all use the same sign-on and save us, we'd spend $821 instead of $2,500.
Well, once you approve it, I will question that and go back, but I'm going to say if they are the people that recommended that, there's a reason for that, since that's their area. Yes, sir.
I would say I personally subscribe to that myself, and I think that's probably not allowed by the license,
Oh.
the way the license is.
That's what I was fixing to say.
Oh, okay.
It's-
When I buy it, I'm the only one that can use it, and I can only use it on 2 different machines, or it will kill itself.
Okay. So it's a licensing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a really good subscription.
Okay.
So moved, Judge.
Thank you.
Second. Oh, the Peters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Motion
need
by
to.
Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Gonzalez, approve the item as presented. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 3 is discuss, consider, take action to purchase 9 computer monitors at a cost of $159.75 each from Bass Computers for a total cost of $1,437.75, plus shipping charges for the Technology Committee and subject matter experts to be used to perform First Data Conversion Project to be paid by transfer from 10409.4902 to general fund contingencies to a line determined by the county auditor. Meredith, I think you're pretty familiar with this.
Yeah, when we got our first data extract from LGS, there were multiple columns within each of our files that were duplicate headers, but they had different data within them. For instance, an address. It would just say address or city or state, and you don't know if that, in our system, you don't know if that's the defendant's address or the victim's address or the emergency contact address. And so we went back to LGS and said we need these column headers to be more specific about what the information actually is, and they basically said that's part of what you get with conversion. Good luck figuring it out. So a team of us have gotten together and started basically decoding those data extracts and matching up the address field with which one it actually is based on the data within the data extract. It's a lengthy process, as you can imagine. It's going to take us literally hours to do, and most of us that are working on it have a difficult time getting that done, even within our offices with all the telephone calls coming in, people stopping in, projects coming through. So the other problem with that is you really need multiple screens up at one time to be able to look at your data extract, the fields that are duplicates, and then the actual LGS system to figure out where that field specifically is. So we thought having 3 banks of 3 monitors up in the tech room would be a quiet space, and then we can, those of us on the tech team can go through the first round of figuring out our own, like the jail and the DA system, and then we can bring in some SMEs from the other departments and go through the same process with them, hopefully a little quicker because we've been through one already. So that's the need for the monitors. Obviously, time is of the essence for Tyler. This is our first data extract. They want to start conversion, but they can't do it until we tell them what the fields really are.
That actually makes sense, what she said. I mean, if you've ever done that, having the original and then the columns to where you can, if you're flipping back and forth, it just makes it crazy.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what the monitors are for. They, they can be reused. We'll have those up there. I mean, there's going to be 4 to 5 data extracts. We don't have any guarantee when the next one comes, they'll be in the same order, so we may be doing this every single time. We hope not. We're going to request in our next extract that they be in the exact same order that they were in the first one. And we thought maybe we had done something wrong in not requesting them to be in a specific order, but even Tyler told us if they extracted their information, it would likely be jumbled the way it was. It was like they threw it up in the air and put it back into us.
So we just want the same, we want the same jumble next time, yeah.
Yeah, the exact same jumble next time. So we're hoping that we can get through this extract. And we can't show Tyler screenshots and we can't show them the system because LGS has said that's proprietary. So we've got to do it. But we're the ones that know our data the best too. So
Yeah.
we're the ones that need to be doing it. If we can get it right now, we'll have better data in the end.
Okay, very good. Can I ask the court to take action on that?
I have a question for Meredith. That seems to me to be unsurmountable amount of information that, can you tackle that? Can you eat that elephant? I mean, that's huge.
We're concerned about that, but we knew going into this that conversion was our biggest task. And, you know, the jail's got probably more complicated issues than my office does. You know, one text file with duplicates in it took me about an hour. It was a code file, so it was relatively small, but it took me maybe an hour to decode and then figure out which field was which. The mapping of it was not that difficult. A lot of the files are going to be that way. The big ones that have most of the data out of our actual case management system, those are going to take a lot longer. So yeah, is it going to, for the tech committee, we're looking at probably shutting us personally down for at least a week and trying to get this done. But we've got to have the space to do it in and try to do it as efficiently as possible. So
Yeah, I don't have a problem
So
with
that
what
it's
you've
not
asked for. I'm just was trying to imagine, you know, you said one file an hour, and we've got 50 million files, you know, I'm just
yeah. Well,
I'm
I mean,
just
we're
thinking,
lucky-
wow.
We're lucky that every single file that was sent doesn't have duplicate column headers. And a lot of the ones that were sent are similar. Like code files in my office are essentially the same as code files in the clerk's offices. So if I can decode mine, I should be able to do theirs quickly, you know, with their help of looking at the data.
Yeah.
But some of it, yeah, it's gonna take hours. And the jail probably has the bigger task than we do, but luckily we've got some people that really know their system well. If we didn't have people that knew our system, if I hadn't built a bond forfeiture system for LGS and I knew all of these codes, there's no way we would be able to do this ourselves. But,
Wow.
you know, I think, can we do it? Yes. Is it gonna take a long time? Absolutely. We hope in the end. I mean, I still think in the end, we're gonna have some fields that we can't recognize and we're gonna have to go back to LGS, but hopefully that's a much smaller number.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we accept it as stated.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Watts, to approve the item as stated. Any other comment or question? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 5, we will take up in the work session this afternoon. Mr. Smythe said he could be here for that.
Will we be able to vote on that later?
Yes,
Okay.
still in session.
Okay.
Item number 5, discuss, consider, take action on the maintenance service bids from May 2016. We went through that process. We didn't award them. We are approaching the $50,000 mark on some of the vendors. And that then triggers that if we had those contracts in place, we would be all right. If we don't have them in place, we've got a problem. Ms. Kennedy, anything else to add to that?
Initially, when the bids were reviewed, I think y'all had been presented with information about price, and you had asked me to look at the competitive bid, the request, and make a determination of whether, you know, was there anything else to review. The RFP had a grading schedule that price was only 50% of it. So the other 4, I think, qualifications for the bid weren't even considered. And so my suggestion to you would be to review each of the requests for proposals and grade them according to the scale, and that way you can make a determination about who the best bidder is for the best and lowest based on the actual grading scale that you have in the RFP.
Okay, so that still needs to be done. But the other thing that, you know, commissioners, you need to look at is whether, you know, you didn't feel like you got the number of vendor responses you wanted. So,
Well, that actually, several vendors that, Willie, you can vouch for this, that we use regularly, that we rely on regularly, didn't bid. So it was a kind of like, take a deep breath, what do we do? So,
well, you follow the law, but
well, I understand.
And if y'all want to rebid it, that's fine. I don't have any issue with that. But with, at least with one vendor, you're over 50.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you award more invoices to that company, it's a continuing problem. So we really need to get that one done as soon as possible.
Can we break them out and do one at a time?
Or appoint a committee of, I mean, I don't know who you want on that committee to do it, the people that can evaluate who, somebody from the jail, whoever it is, that's doing your remediation stuff and your projects. I would suggest having 2 members of the Commissioners Court on the committee, plus somebody from the departments that majorly use those services, and then try to get them evaluated as soon as possible.
I think someone that would be very beneficial would be Darrell Bonin, since he deals with those contractors on a daily basis. And probably Captain Patterson. It's hard for me to say that. I'm still stuck on Sergeant Johnson. And I wouldn't mind, I would serve on that
Okay.
also.
Well, you already.
Bobby Yo would probably need to be included on that, and probably Barry Mahler. Would you agree? Okay.
And then I would honestly try to get that done by next week and get it back on the agenda for Monday if possible.
Barry won't be here.
He'll be back Thursday.
Well, we can visit, I can visit with him over the phone. On just one type of, one area, and I think it's the heating and air conditioning that she's concerned with.
Well, you got a scoring deal to do. And
Well, I understand, but
Yeah.
we can pull him in on the phone.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay, your project.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, item 6 is discuss, consider, take action on the construction of the weigh station on US 287 with costs to be paid from the general fund contingencies to appropriate lines as determined by the county auditor. This would also be a county energy project under the CTERS program, and that way, I can't remember, I get my federal, and then it's 75 or 80% that would come back to us off of those funds. Nancy did research, and that was added to the modified list, I believe you said?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing we need to do today is take action on that, establish that as a project so that Harper Perkins can go ahead and proceed with.
So moved, Judge.
Second.
Should you consider a permanent improvement fund or
Yeah.
The CTERS fund would be, yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be enough money left in the CTERS.
Well,
No, one of the money we have to set aside to pay as we go.
well, if you look at, for the auditor's projection of deficit in general fund, so it's best either permanent improvement or road and bridge funds.
we've had that fund we set up, we transferred into, and it's not a great deal of it is used, but when you all pay out on that paving project,
We're fixing
that's
stuff.
gonna knock that down, plus you're gonna have to pay some out of your, actual, either precinct 5, because it's gonna exceed the amount of money we have left.
So why don't we do it from the permanent improvement?
I'd say, yeah, revise that to permanent improvement fund.
Up to a designated amount, maybe 250,000.
Yeah,
So I'd revise my motion.
Surely that could be done for that. Surely.
I think so.
well, yeah.
We don't need nothing real
No.
elaborate.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by, who got that?
I did.
Okay. By Commissioner Gonzalez, to approve the construction of a weigh station on US 287 with costs to be paid from the Permanent Improvement Fund up to $250,000 into appropriate lines as determined by the county auditor, and to establish this is an official project.
On that note, Judge, I'd just like to comment that Matt and Glenda have met with myself, and I forget who else was there anyway.
I was in on part of it.
Okay, and you, and went through the concepts of what we're looking at, and that the facade be somewhat similar or correspond maybe with the preceding roadside parks there, in just the nature of the style of the thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so it was successful, and he's supposed to bring us back more information this week.
Okay, all right. Any other comments or questions on it? Sheriff, just as a side thing, you know, right now, the way the law brackets numerically, only you or your personnel that are trained can do that, and yet we've got a great resource in Constable Blackerby who did that for DPS. So I'm going to work on a legislative change to take out that bracket or get it put in there. The county that borders the Red River, in between two other counties that border the Red River, could have a constable do that. Somehow to get that bracketed in to get that problem removed. But I talked to the Larry Gayondo. I may have missed that. He's vice president of TAC and past president of the Constable Association, and he couldn't, with his history, he couldn't figure out why they had that bracket in there. But
we've already had some deputies identified to go to the CDE school, which is, they've got one in November and one in December.
So we can go ahead and start.
We can go ahead and send them to class. It's the same training as DPS.
yeah,
It's the same goal. It's in Austin.
and we need to capture that expense of training them to see if it'll qualify under that Seatrows project. I don't know for sure it will or not, but we could try it.
My idea is to send at least get 4 gone starters and send 4 more, because sometimes shifts change, guys have to go different shifts for whatever reason, and that way we still always have people that.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, item number 7 is to record vote on proposed tax rate for 2016 tax roll for 2017 budget. Let me kind of give, you all received a document this morning from Willie giving you some of the parameters in this. And what in order to meet the legal requirements of notice is we're going to go with, this would be the lowest rate and this would be the highest, and you could parallel it to what the city of Wichita Falls did. We do not anticipate that we would go to the high rate, but if you're going to advertise and do it, we've still got a couple of things we're trying to get pinned down on cost. The budget that I will file as the county judge will have a rate in between there. It'll be a 2.25 cent increase on the interest and sinking fund for some equipment we're going to buy. It'll also have a 2 cent increase on the maintenance and operation, because we had a deficit projected for this year of $1.8 million. And when Commissioner Harvey was opening his prayer and said we're praying for the state government, what our state doesn't seem to realize in the Lieutenant Governor's efforts to lower the ability of local government to raise property taxes is that, unlike the state of Texas, which sets an amount here for revenue and they set an amount here that they'll spend, they lock those in. They don't have to put up money for disasters. They tell us when our jail's full of people to go rent space for the prisoners that we're holding for them that they're not taking. They tell us to house people that should be in a mental health institution because their beds are full at state hospitals. And that second problem, well, both first and the second are throughout Texas. that we are keeping prisoners for prolonged periods or mental health patients for prolonged periods to get them properly placed. One of the speakers we had talked about in who else was at that meeting? 64, they had 14,000 mental health beds.
2010.
No, in 1964.
That was the director of that.
I'm sorry, it was 11,000.
No, it was 14,000.
Was it 14?
Yeah, my paper's in there on my
Okay.
desk.
Anyhow, they had all of these mental health beds. Laws changed, and they put everybody out. And now, and that was when we had 10 million population in the state of Texas. We now are at 26 million, and we have 2,200 beds.
Let me put that in layman's terms for you. Our state was footing the bill for 14,000 mental health beds in our state. Okay? Now they're footing the bill for 2,200 beds. Our population has almost tripled, and those mental health patients are now being funded by property tax, and they live in our jails. Our indigent defense by the Constitution was explained to us this past week that is a job to be paid for by the state. But today, indigent defense is funded by property tax. Our jail has no limit. We have to take everybody they bring. Mandated by the state, they're not pitching in any money. So if Senator Betancourt wants to grab some votes because he's getting a lot of phone calls because our property tax rates are going through the roof, and he's saying, oh, that's not right. Them county commissioners are just kicking you guys in the gut. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll limit their ability to raise taxes. Well, that's fine. You start paying your bills, take it off the property taxpayer, put it back on the sales taxpayer, and we'll be fine. We won't need to raise property taxes. But folks, if you look at our budget, the judicial system, our sheriff's department, our courts, indigent defense, indigent care, all that stuff is mandated by the state, and the property taxpayer is footing the bill for that, and they shouldn't be. The state mandated that stuff. The state come up with great ideas. The state decided that now our tax assessor collector's got to work child support division, so you can't come get your tags anymore unless you paid your child support. Well, they didn't think it through. They didn't think about how many irate people are going to be down there that we're going to have to deal with. They don't put us any money in place so we can increase our security, or I'm just telling you, we got to put a stop to our state, just like our federal government mandates to our state. Our state's mandating to us, and the property taxpayer is footing the bill for it. It aggravates me that we overspent $1.8 million in our county. In our county alone, Wise County, they overspent $4 million. But our state, and I'm proud of Texas, and I love Texas, but dadgummit, don't run us into the ground and brag about $1 billion surplus in Austin. So, folks, if you get a chance, you call your state representative and you call Senator Estes and you tell him what your concerns are, because we got to change that somehow, some way. If we could get rid of that burden, folks, our tax rate would go down tremendously.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify the fact of overspent. We're overspent. We're not overspent.
Right.
We actually have software purchases that are going to run us over.
Right.
But we have a program in place to offset that, so it's not an immediate expense to us this very year.
That's great. It's $3.5 million that we're going to spread out over 7 years. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to overcome it, but the fact still remains that we're spending $1.7 million more than what we generated in revenue. So anyway, it's a tough spot to be in, especially knowing that they're fixing to meet again and they're going to make some more rules and regulations, and we have no clue what it's going to cost the property taxpayer, because that's where they put it.
Well, one plus side, though, Representative Frank, working with Jim Allison, General Counsel, County Judge and Commissioner Association, he's going to put a bill forward that right now, when we pick somebody up on a blue warrant, which means they violated their probation, then we had to pay for them until they were processed through the probation department. His bill will ask that the state starts paying for them from day one when they're booked in, that they'll have to pay for that, as long as there's no other charges on them, Sheriff. So, but often what gets them stopped and they find out they got a blue warrant is they did something else. So until that charge is cleared, they would be on our nickel. But once that's cleared, then it goes on to
But there is a multitude of other examples similar
Absolutely.
to just what you're saying, that
Yes.
the state is having us hold on our nickel when in fact they should pitch in. And, you know, even if there was a limit of days, that after the first 5 they go in, there's nothing to hold their feet to the fire to come get their guys and get them moved accordingly.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek. After they're paper ready, they have 45 days to come get them, and they wait till the 45th day to come get them. Is that not correct?
Generally, they are here probably within a month to get them, but occasionally they go over that. It used to be much lower, it used to be down around 16 or 17.
It's also depending what crime it is, if they've got, get a capital murder, you get them in there a little quicker than you can if you guys, a normal drug dealer or murderer that convicted several theft cases, or they'll get a bed open for them.
And it's not our All-Red unit that does that. We're talking about Huntsville comes and gets them, and
It's a state,
Yeah.
prison system.
no. So we just can't go knock on the door at All-Red and say, "Hey, got you a load of guys."
A lot of people think we can do that. It doesn't
Can't do
work.
it.
Everybody still has to go to Huntsville.
Yep.
And, it's by the TDC bus, and we transport them ourselves. We don't generally do that unless it's a special case.
But all females you do.
All females have to go in.
You have to take them
We have to take them.
without any reimbursement.
Right.
Yeah.
So the proposed rate that we would not exceed is, Willie, that number exactly would be what? The maximum rate?
Maximum is the rollback rate, which is point,
621,066?
1066.
Okay, Judge, I'd make that motion that we accept that as our tentative maximum rollback rate.
I'll second that, Judge.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Watts, a second by Commissioner Gonzalez to publish that we will not exceed the rollback rate of 0.620166 cents per $100 of evaluation.
Said that backwards. 621066. You said 620166.
Oh, I'm sorry, I sure did, thank you. Okay, correction, 0.621066. Any other comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Okay, the next item is to set 2 public hearing dates on the tax rate. The first hearing will be on Monday, September the 12th, 2016 at 6 p.m. in this room, 270 Wichita County Courthouse. Excuse me, the second hearing will be Monday, September 19th, 2016 at 10 a.m. in room 270 Wichita County Courthouse. After that, we will take the vote on the tax rate unless there's information presented that we put that off. But that's the plan right now, is to vote that same day on that. That's just an announcement that doesn't have to have action.
Judge, would
Yes.
we not also request, if possible, those department heads be here for that public hearing on the 12th?
We could sure ask them to be. The thing is, you're going to run out of room if you have much public turnout. Okay. Next item is discuss and review jail work orders.
Do we need to vote on that?
No, sir.
Okay.
I post those.
Okay.
That's my job.
Okay. Work orders.
Okay, on the jail work orders, we had a total of 22 resolved this past week. 16 of those were scheduled, and 6 others were done with as they occurred. But our overall list has grown, it appears. Any new updates on the, well, you know, you were gone last week. so
All week.
Ben Hood, yeah. We don't have an update on that.
When we recess, I'll call Wichita Restaurant Supply, and I'll hopefully have an update when we reconvene.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. Sheriff or chief, anything else hanging out there, dude?
Is there anything that you need from us? Is there something that we, on this jail work orders, that you are really concerned about, that you need?
We haven't heard anything of major.
Okay. Thank you.
I noticed that the roof has a lot of preliminary stuff going on, so they are underway.
Yes.
And ETA on that?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know when they plan on being finished. Are you guys aware that I had communication with Garland Prince about a 750 kW generator at 480 volt instead of 4160? You weren't in the loop on that? Okay, I've asked Garland to help us eliminate the big generator we got from Shepherd Air Force Base is a 750 kW. It puts out 4160 volt lot. Great generator. If we can find on the 1033 program a generator between 500 and 750 that puts out 480 volt, we can eliminate a $25,000 step-down transformer. So I've asked Garland to help me with that. And I have, like I said, we've all been gone a week, so.
The last one, he got it Fort Seal, so he'll look at it, he'll find it.
Okay, well, that's,
Fort Seal, but
well, sure, that's fine.
But we had to go a distance at $25,000. Big thing we need to know, is it working, instead of go up there and find we hauled scrap iron home.
he's got the connections with most of those people. All the ones with the 5 locations we go to, he does good report with those people. They'll tell right off the bat whether it's not easy or no.
Right. Would you ask him to give us an update for that for this afternoon session? Thank you.
All right, anything else on jail? Do we have any leak problems with them working on the roof right now I can't believe how much rain we've gotten in August.
We
We need to have some kind of.
we had a leak, that's what IT's out there for right now.
Yeah,
It was basically raining inside on the video camera server. That's an area that we've never had any water anywhere.
Well, they're ripping the roof off,
So
yeah.
They may be moving stuff around, maybe, I guess maybe if there's water standing up there, they may be shutting places that hadn't been before. But fortunately, somebody happened to be in the pipe checks right when I started, they were able to cover it up with some plastic to keep it that way.
right.
Did we lose the server?
No.
Oh, excellent, good job,
Went all around it.
good job.
But that's the only thing that I've heard that could be attributed to what they're doing out there right now.
Is there a reason why we couldn't have either Captain Johnson?
No,
Patterson.
It was Sergeant Johnson, that's
yeah,
Captain
Okay.
Patterson.
Her attend the meetings, or Daryl,
Which means.
these meetings? I mean, to where if we have
Generally,
questions?
well, they're usually here, she's
Well,
ill today.
I think Daryl, at this time, and he trying to get payrolls? He's, Monday mornings, he's pretty busy.
They have
Okay.
both been here on most occasions.
Majority of the time. Paris, Alley, old, and monitors, titles, issues from last week.
We're down to public comment. Anything in the audience will be brought up? All right, commissioners?
Hotter Than Hell was, I guess, a pretty good success. Sheriff, I didn't get any feedback on any bad accidents. I know that you had one gentleman who
We had
was trying to have a heart attack on you.
we had a heart attack call that, the guy he told one of the deputies that his Fitbit, his doctor, his cardiologist told him if he gets over 150, he needs to go then to the ER, he's gonna have a massive heart attack. And his Fitbit number was like 260.
Ooh.
And, first deputy got there, so the guy said, you know, I'm gonna keep on, if I lay down, I'm not gonna make it. So you can't force him into an ambulance, and he continued on, and I didn't hear of us having a fatality from a heart attack. He must have made it.
You know, those Fitbits aren't guaranteed, they're an estimate of your heart rate, they've now
Well, you
said.
know, I thought that too when I was running over there. It's people, have different ideas and visions they want to do to finish a bike race. You know, we've had several heart attacks and fatal heart attacks.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we had the normal, some crashes, broken collarbone, nothing major. So this year was pretty good.
Now,
Traffic, I think traffic was growing a better year.
I do too.
I thought it was a better year too.
Yeah, really better year.
Now, we did get a little feedback, and I talked to one of the commissioners about, and I tried to explain to Hotter Than Hell people, we have X amount of time to get road work done. We do our best to avoid the roads they have, but every once in a while, the scheduling is going to fall in there because from the time we can start getting them ready to the time we can pave them, because the weather changes, there's only a certain amount of time in there. And every once in a while, we unfortunately get one of those roads. But we try to sweep them, get all the loose gravel away and do all that, but,
Did want to share a little bit of information that,
yeah.
the sheriff's office, we had over 21 intersections, just intersections manned, throughout the Wichita County. We had over 56 deputies working, and we had the use of at least 43 sheriff's office units without including the command post. And it's, looking at the center. We had that set up over there by the, lake, Alpart, Oscar Lake. So it was everything went real smooth. I think there was a problem at first with the data that they wanted us to send into the main command post of all our personnel and riders and things. That's there was some glitch at first. But I think they got taken care of it.
David, we had a couple, or I don't know if they were a couple, it was a man and a woman, but they had a car with the backup, all this radio equipment, maps taped to the side of it, and they were talking, and what were they doing? I mean, I never got an opportunity to really go over there and ask them, but they were monitoring and mapping, and
Ham operator?
Yeah,
is that what it was,
Yeah.
ham operators?
yeah.
I'm thinking it's probably ham operator.
Yeah, I
That's what-
talked to them, that's what they were.
What was their function?
Well, this year they had generally if you need a sag wagon, you have to call in, you have to, they'd call one to find, they had to just scatter, they didn't have them in particular areas. This year they broke them down where they had not only sag wagons assigned to certain areas, but they had a medical team, a two-person medical team assigned in certain areas, and the ham operators would notify them. They could get there a quicker response than EMS or the deputies could get there. So it was a lot better as far as medical.
So
treatment.
they were communicating
Right.
our needs.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
Like our command post, we had a ham operator, as well as the main command post, we had ham operators. They had a big setup downtown. So it was it's just better communication to get some quick response.
They're part of our, the weather spotters, all that same group of
Right.
people.
But I just didn't know what their function was. I mean, I knew they were mapping and charting and doing all, I mean, it looked pretty impressive, to be honest with
We
you.
had, and it works quickly enough, when we had an accident on 367 West, this female, she was unconscious. There was a report she's unconscious, she's not responsive. And so we had our EMS headed out that way, of course, the ground ambulance, and I believe Park went ahead and asked for the launch area back to get there. Wasn't that just a few minutes of time period, she became conscious and got up and walked around, and she decided that she wants to ride, but the deputies were able to convince her to. Sagwagon got there pretty quickly, and she wanted to ride on in on Sagwagon, so she got going on Sagwagon. By the time the helicopter got overhead and the EMS was pulling up, she didn't want anyhow. A lot of people don't realize when the helicopter comes out there on this big long, the big extended part of that race, we have to stop all the bikes going westbound. We've had to do that before to land the helicopter on the highway. It's just, it backs everybody up. They get upset. The ones in front can see what's happening, but it's always the ones in the back that are driving back. Hey, why don't we stop for? We need to keep riding a bit at a time here. When you get a helicopter landing, it's not perfect. It's not good to have bicycles run through.
Right.
An LZ, maybe an issue like that.
I'd like to recognize Nancy Gregory and her staff, Sherry Jones and Joyce. And Alex. Alex, he pitched in and worked really hard. County rest stop was rest stop number 5, and it went great. Nancy had ice cold watermelon and oranges and bananas and just everything under the sun. Pickles. I've never seen as many cold pickles given out in my life. I guess
we run out of those, so I tried to make sure we had it.
it was pretty good. We did a breakfast Saturday morning, and then we did I guess it's the sausage or hot dogs wrapped in a tortilla that afternoon, and met folks from all over the country that came, and they said, man, we always stop here because this is the only rest stop where we get meat, so it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't too hot. I didn't die out there in the heat, so it was good. A lot of great volunteers at our Midwestern State University. Those girls were some snow cone making devils, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was good. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Alex, thank you for all you did. He babysitted us all night long. He stayed up all night making sure nobody messed with our stuff. He was a little tired the next day.
No, he worked hard the next day.
He was so tired, he couldn't make it to the barbershop this morning.
You're the only one in the suit out there too, dressed like. No spandex for him.
No. Anyway, that's all I have.
I wanted to make mention, not to drop the ball at all, but for a lot of y'all had inquired, and I wanted to reiterate the score from Friday night's Burke Hawk football game.
Hawks
I knew 56,
some jerk
Burke
would bring
Burnett
that up.
26.
Say that again?
Hawks 56, Burke 26.
56?
56 Hawks.
Is that arena football?
Well, I understood Burke didn't get there
Sometimes you
until the
just
second
gotta
half.
Yeah, they just.
Okay, let me just throw out a couple other things. Just I want to mention to you that George got with me over the weekend. He's been looking at WebSense and some other products that we're managing. They came back to us with a real good offer of $36,646.99 for a 60-month contract for that. That's half of what we have been paying. And that's giving us, they're throwing it into a 5-year deal for paying for 3 years to do that.
What is WebSense?
It has to do with their filtering, and they offer helping. It's part of the security package.
Oh, like our firewall type deal?
It relates to that. And at any rate, I've told him to go ahead, and I've asked the auditor to send a PO on it so we can hold that price. He is looking at 2 other products and worked out the time with them, but we had to have a PO on to honor it, get that price honored. So that'll be on the agenda to ratify that, but I didn't want to miss out on that discount of about $20,000.
And Judge, on that note too, I had spoke to him about the potential that's coming with our website over this upgrade of software. And Lori May can tell us a little bit, but there was a process that was being hosted by your previous provider that is anticipated for us to host now, but our capabilities there are going to be challenged in a different way than what they have before. And so I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't think they know what it's going to mean exactly right off, but it probably could take a life of its own as far as someone that has to manage that data on our web page. So it'd be something for him to come talk to us about in the near
You
future.
talking about the county web page?
Mm-hmm.
Who
That's
hosts that
where
now?
that's where
We do.
What it is our foreclosures, because of the county our size, we have to post on our webpage.
Okay.
And it was going through, we would bring them in, and they would go to ACS, and ACS, there was links there, Ashley could explain it better, but now, since we're not with ACS anymore, there's no link. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to get.
And Eagle doesn't have a link.
there's a way.
Do you not know?
We're just not set up.
It's not set up, and it's
So-
trying to figure out how to get all of this done, and last week, I will be honest, was not the week to try to figure that out. We had enough issues last week with going live than bigger issues than that.
So are we just going to contact Eagle and see if they can help us make that connection?
I can't.
The IT's going to handle that. It'll get worked out.
We looked at some other counties that Tyler has,
Yep.
and looked at their websites that are being run by outside sources. So we're gonna also contact some of them and find out if they're, because they obviously already have a link built with Tyler to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to publish that stuff.
Why
on that.
reinvent the wheel?
So
Yeah.
we're gonna try to, we're trying not to invent the wheel and
Cool.
find and it may lead to something that we can do, we've needed for some time to update the website. Parker County is a beautiful one. You go look on their website, and that's one of the companies that we're gonna contact, see how much it would be to have domain insurance.
Okay.
Cool.
It's just part of the evolution of change.
But your conversion, went well. I mean, you knew it was going to be a rough week, but you're now getting your arms around it, right?
Yes.
We still have some outstanding issues. They have a program, they come back. They get you to go through everything. Ashley told me 2 weeks, they will come back, have people back down here.
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow with the director of support, a conference call with him to discuss the outstanding issues that are still there. The issues that we have in
pretty
Go Live
wild.
that we were not very happy about.
Yeah.
And bringing somebody back that hopefully no cost to the county,
Yeah.
because we think they should have brought some more people.
More people, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but we've been talking about that.
And I want to commend Ashley and Sam and both Cody's. I mean, they was in my office every day at 7 a.m. and we were there every night until 6:30, 7 o'clock. I mean, it was, that they was there, they helped out. Actually, Sam's been up there this morning because we had a few little issues, but
Coming together.
they're slow.
Meredith, that Parker County website, that interactive, and I receive bid notices or job postings or different things from Parker County through this site. It's
Yeah.
very, very good.
Yeah, and we've been talking some about the HB 1295 stuff with contracts and making people do their certifications and, having those forms.
Do it
on our
online,
website would be
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
We just don't have the manpower, unfortunately with IT, with all the projects going on, to have somebody manage a website. So if we could figure out a way to get that done. Yeah, we can put our contracts on there, because
Yeah.
contracts are public. I mean, Tarrant County, I think, every single one of their contracts is on there.
I have the solution. Everybody bring their grandkid to work and say, hey, fix that. Fix that. You know?
Yeah, we're all in the wrong business.
All right. We do have a meeting scheduled for Thursday at 1:30. We'll receive a briefing, Sheriff, from Blake Urnak after they've talked. Davy Wells has come back with some additional information for them. We kind of got thrown a curve from DPS on that internet charge that no one had mentioned up until last time for that $1,200 or more a month service. So we're trying to find out some better answers to that. But to look at this other. And so I want to be sure y'all knew that they were coming at 1:30 on Thursday. Also at that meeting, we'll review emergency and regular bills and some general budget discussions. One of the things I want to talk about is we need to narrow down on what we're going to do on jail consulting, how we're going to look at that to maybe combine possibly HOK with, they will be working for Harper Perkins under our provisions with Harper Perkins, but possibly to bring in just some aspects of Carl Griffith's company to look at a few things for us, but not the full-blown proposal they gave us, which, you know, seemed a little excessive in charge and a little long in the production of it. But if you all could be in on that, I'd appreciate that. Okay.
I'd also like to add that Thursday, which is I let Nancy know the other day that it's almost an unofficial county holiday. It's opening dove season, right?
Yeah.
And this meeting kind of ruins some things for some of us. But what I'd like the residents to understand that there'll be more gunfire in the county than normal, and everybody is to be safe hunters. Have your game wards will be thick as the dove, and the deputies will be out as well. And just make sure you don't shoot across property lines and be aware of what you're shooting at. Where you're around.
Do not shoot from a road.
Yeah.
No, you cannot shoot.
Good Lord.
You can't shoot across the road either.
Right.
That's right.
You're not supposed to, unless it's not the same pasture, you're not supposed to, it's against the law to shoot across a fence line to another property.
You can shoot across a fence line owned by one person. It's like if it's a cross fence. But
Cross fence, but not
right.
property line.
Do they have signs up with a gun in them and a red ring that says no on the fence?
Nope. You need to know where you're hunting, and you need to know what you rented and what you didn't.
Trespassing.
That's right.
Permission to be on property.
Yeah. Not
The
always the case.
Wichita County Charity Dove Hunt is not opening weekend, but it's the next weekend.
Next weekend.
And that seems to be turning out pretty good. Sheriff, spending all this money on these consultants to come in and, you know, this is one of the things that we talked about in Austin, that there's people trying to convince us that we need to let them look at the way we do business. And let them come in here and ask you 1,000 questions and see how you do this, and go to the DA's office, see how they do this, and go to bookend, and just follow the process all the way through. And I just question if we need to spend however many thousands of dollars to have somebody to come in here and look at what we do if we don't have the buy-in from all those departments. Because if they come and say, well, you're not doing that right, and you say, well, yes, we are. What you're doing, you know, unless we have the buy-in from everybody that it touches, there's no sense in spending that money.
I agree with that. You know, we've got a lot of experience of people working in this county. Look what we've done on the jail population. I know we always look to see what else can we do to cut the population, but some things you just can't cut. The biggest thing is when we got them in, new county court of law judges, took care of all misdemeanor holdups in courts. We had a new DA come in, we had new prosecutors come in. The 2-year lag of backup of people in the jail was because of one outgoing DA and a new one coming in, staff leaving, and new staff coming in. I believe that we as a whole that all work together in the criminal justice section of the county work together very well and understand our system. And to me, this is just me once again saying this, to hire somebody and give them a bunch of money to come from another county because they've been in that field but not actually worked in the field, not exactly listen to you people on the front lines, or in the jail, the depths of the jail, to understand how it works, how we do our business, what we cut here or cut there, and then tell us also how we need to build the jail that we need for our need when we already know our need. To me, it's a waste of money. It's a taxpayer, it's a waste of money. It's just, I'm telling you. And a lot of people believe the same thing. That's the constant thing I hear from people is, why do y'all want to pay someone to come and tell you how to do your business? Y'all know what you're doing, don't you? Well, yeah, we wouldn't be in these positions if we didn't know what we're doing. The other thing is, when are we gonna build a new jail? That's the other thing. So, I refer back to the court.
One of the things that I learned in Commissioner's School, our legislative conference, when we went to the state of our mental health, this is the class that we took. One of the things, they had 2 or 3 suggestions for us that I wish you and Derek would have been sitting there to hear, and that's the initial contact with that person on the street and just training our officers to recognize mental health, okay? That keeps them out of our jail. When we
do have training.
well, but what we were talking about at the class was the bottleneck is when we take them to, say, the United Regional, and when we take them to the state hospital and they're full, what do we do with them? Do we take them to Red River? Do we take them to Rowdy? What do we do with them? What are our options other than jail? So that's something I'd like to learn more about to see how we're addressing that. Putting those guys in jail is not helping them get well, get better, to be part of the community. They're just in jail. And they're not really criminals. They're just ill. So that right there, to me, is something that we need to focus on either providing different avenues for our officers for mental health patients than jail.
We've been saying that for decades. I've been here 34 years, seen the same people come and go until they die.
Mm-hmm.
And it's misdemeanor crimes, majority of misdemeanor crimes. I've seen some capital murders come in that they're living over at Vernon for the rest of their life. They're not in death row like other people would be. But the problem, it goes right back to we don't have enough state funding. You can't fund it all out of the county's budget. And unless that person has created a crime or an incident where they have to be arrested, they're generally told they need to leave unless they're a harm to themselves
Or
or
others.
someone else. That's the 2 factors that law enforcement has to deal with mental people. Are they a danger to themselves or a danger to someone else? And if they're not, they can walk down the road, talk to themselves, you can eat out of trash cans, do the things that we know that as most of us normally know that it's not the right way to be acting or the way it should be. Something must be wrong with that person. But they're not in danger to themselves or someone else. Our hands in law enforcement are tied by that. We can't step above that just because we think that this guy has a mental problem, sack him up, go take him over there to MHMR or to an emergency peace officer commitment, because I promise you, even on a court order commitment, I would venture to say, and I don't have the statistic, Derek, correct me if I'm well off base, 60% of them, when we drop off, we go pick them up and take them back home that night.
Yeah.
At least 60%, if not 70%.
Is that because they've been screened and their crisis is over and
Whatever
they're calmed down? Maybe they got some medication.
Or there's not enough room at the state hospital.
Yeah.
You take them back to your place.
Take them back to their house.
Oh.
On court commitments, we go to your house,
Oh.
pick you up on a court commitment, and then we take you out there, and then
Okay.
doctor says, he's fine, let's take him back. We have to go pick him up.
Okay.
We have screening in bookend. We have a screening process, and that we try to identify that as they come in.
Exactly.
And as they come in, if we identify that we have a mental issue, what do we do with them then? Do they get booked in, or do they stop the booking process and go for help?
Depends on the severity of it. What do you say? It depends. It just depends on the person. Each case is different.
We're gonna be discussing that here in a few minutes.
Yeah,
Closed
yeah,
session.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to bring them into your precinct barn and drop them off. We can't do that.
There was a bunch of sheriffs at our legislative conference, and he said, man, we figured that stuff out. We just take them to the county line and tell them to get out. I said, oh, okay. He said, we can do that till we get caught. So there's no answer right now. And
No, there's not. And it's, once again, you talked about the state, how they cut money, brag about the rainy day fund or the surplus, they need to use some of that.
what's the sheriff's name that spoke with us in that, Nate, the white-haired guy, the president of your association?
Limestone County Sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Limestone County Sheriff. He is a hoot, and he is not gonna take no for an answer. He is screaming from the highest mountaintop, we've gotta fix this problem.
Judge
So,
Wilson's probably one of the most modern time sheriff to raise so much pain about that. Because he knows it affects everybody, and we discussed this in the conference, some committees, and it's something that's a major issue. But you can scream all day long until Austin does something about it. I know Austin likes the motto, keep Austin weird. Maybe we need to ship everybody back to Austin. I'm not sure, but it's crazy.
well, his recommendation is that every sheriff in every county call their representative and their senator and ask them to please help us. Until we're inundating those guys with those type of calls, they're not worried about it. Until we make it an issue, it's really not an issue. So they've asked us to inundate those guys with phone calls.
We discussed that in the conference just recently.
How many times have you called?
They know we've had conversations.
It don't matter, you gotta call them twice a week.
Put them on speed now.
Put them on speed dial. What have you done this week? I mean, I think that's what it's gonna take, is somebody, squeaky wheel gets the grease. So, okay, that's all I have.
You sure?
I'm done.
Okay. We do have a closed session briefing in discussion with Wichita County District Attorney's Office regarding complaints from Kenneth Simmons and the family of Carolyn Sims. The meeting is closed pursuant to Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code. It is 11:12, and I'd ask to clear the courtroom at this point.
Deb,